Good morning. I know that some of our future little admirals picked up your kindergarten packs this week, and I hope that you're looking through all of the materials and practicing your letters and your numbers and writing your name. But I also know that as you're getting prepared for next year, you might be a little nervous about kindergarten. So I want to read to you a book called The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. And I think that this might help settle your nerves a little bit as you get closer to that first day of school. The illustrations are by Ruth E. Harper and Nancy Leake. Let's see. Chester Raccoon stood at the edge of the forest and cried. "I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school," he told his mother. "I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends and play with my toys and read my books and swing on my swing. Please, Mom, please, please let me stay home with you." Mrs. Raccoon took Chester by the hand and nuzzled him on the ear. Sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do, even if they seem strange and scary at first. But you will love school once you start. And so will you. You'll make new friends and play with new toys, read new books and swing on new swings. Besides, she added, I know a wonderful secret that will make your nights at school seem as warm and cozy as your days at home. Chester wiped away his tears and looked interested. A secret? What kind of secret? A very old secret, said Mrs. Raccoon. I learned it from my mother, and she learned it from hers. It's called the kissing hand. The kissing hand? Asked Chester. What's that? I'll show you. Mrs. Raccoon took Chester's left hand and spread open his tiny fingers into a fan. Leaning forward, she kissed Chester right in the middle of his palm. Chester felt his mother's kiss rush from his hand, up his arm, and straight into his heart. Even his silky black mask tingled with a special warmth. I think you liked that little kiss. Mrs. Raccoon smiled. Now, she told Chester, whenever you feel lonely and need a little loving from home, just press your hand to your cheek and think, Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you. And that very kiss will jump to your face and fill you with toasty, warm thoughts. She took Chester's hand and carefully wrapped his fingers around the kiss. Now, do be careful not to lose it, she teased him. But don't worry. When you open your hand and you wash your food and you wash your hands, I promise that kiss will stick. Chester loved his kissing hand. Now he knew his mother's love would go with him wherever he went, even to school. That night, Chester stood in front of his school and looked thoughtful. Suddenly, he turned to his mother and grinned. "Give me your hand," he told her. What do you think he's going to do? Chester took his mother's hand in his own and unfolded her large, familiar fingers into a fan. Next, he leaned forward and kissed the center of her hand. Now you have a kissing hand, too, he told her. And with a gentle goodbye and I love you, Chester turned and danced away. Mrs. Raccoon watched Chester scamper across a tree limb and enter school. And as the hoot owl rang in the new school year, she pressed her left hand to her cheek and smiled. The warmth of Chester's kiss filled her heart with special words. Chester loves you. Chester loves you. What a special story. When you get ready to go to kindergarten or to pre-K, I want you to be sure to give your mom a kissing hand and ask her to give you one as well. And then you will have the same confidence that Chester did when he went to school. Seems like it made things a lot better for him. Don't worry, you're going to love school. We'll see you soon. I just read to you The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. Let's take a closer look and see if you can answer some questions about what you just heard. Here's a photograph of Chester. In this illustration, I noticed that Chester looks sad. Look closely at Chester. Do you see the tears in Chester's eyes? Why was Chester sad at the beginning of the story? Do you remember? Let's see if we can find a passage from the story to remind us. Chester Raccoon stood at the edge of the forest and cried. "I don't want to go to school," he told his mother. "I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends and play with my toys and read my books and swing on my swing. Please, may I stay home with you?" So, after reading that, Chester is crying because he doesn't want to go to school. And he sure had a lot of reasons for his mom as to why he didn't want to go. But the main reason was he didn't want to go to school. That's why he's crying. Look at this photograph. There's an illustration of Mrs. Raccoon and Chester, and she seems to be giving Chester a kiss on the hand, right? Look at all the love they feel. So what was Mrs. Raccoon's secret? That's right. This illustration shows it well. She told Chester about a secret of how she could give him a kissing hand and he could feel her love every time he put the hand to his cheek. Look at this illustration. This is a beautiful drawing. Look at this. That night, Chester stood in front of his school and looked thoughtful. Suddenly he turned to his mom and grinned. "Give me your hand," he told her. The word night. Chester's going to school at night. Do you go to school at night? No, you will go to school in the morning. But why did Chester go to school at night? Chester is a raccoon, and they are nocturnal animals. A nocturnal animal is awake and moves around more at night than in the daytime. They're more active at night. In this illustration, you see some of Chester's classmates who also are nocturnal animals. Can you name some of these animals that are nocturnal, which means more active at night? Ah, there's Chester. Raccoons are nocturnal. Do you know what those are? Those are opossums. You don't see them running around during the daytime. They come out at night. A little mouse. Rabbits. The owl is nocturnal. There's a mockingbird that's nocturnal. Tree frogs. Not all frogs are nocturnal, but some are. Fox. There's a deer. There's another little mouse. All of those animals all of those animals are examples of animals that are nocturnal. This is one of my favorite illustrations. How did Chester feel at the end of the story? Do you remember? He was crying in the beginning, but at the end, he danced off to school. I would say that Chester was probably very happy. And Chester was also, because now he had that kissing hand, Chester was brave and confident.